Hi everyone, it's Tanya and welcome to Reaching Rush Day 3. And today I'm taking you to Edo, Tokyo Open Air Architecture Museum. And so right behind me, can you see this old building? This is one of the houses that I'm going to show you. I'm very excited. I'm actually there is so much greenery here, and now that I've taken off my mask I can smell all the smells, and it smells so good in here. So it's also like a park. There is a lot of obviously greenery, and all the houses they're like shown. For example, this one particular house is shown with the garden around it. So beautiful. So they basically collected, as far as I understood, like old buildings from Edo era through like around Tokyo, and they brought them all together in this one place. The entrance is actually very cheap. The entrance is like 400 yen, so $4 for one adult ticket, which is like so cheap, and you can take pictures. They give you this like information pamphlet with like short introductions to all the buildings. It is so lovely. I'm so excited to see all of these buildings. Look at them. I will show you today. And I understood that I really like open air museums. I mean, I knew that I liked them because in nearby my hometown in Russia there is also one open air museum. It's also like architecture, like Russian architecture, and I really enjoyed there. I want to go there again. I went there. I didn't go there. My parents went there and they showed me pictures. Really wanted to go, but I'm very excited to explore this place. Look at this house and this garden behind me. So beautiful. And so after I explore, I will introduce you to today's book. So now let's go and see what's around, because it's so beautiful here. It's so beautiful. These houses are just stunning, and this garden, oh, so beautiful. Look, in this house they even have installation of what what a meal would look like. And I really like the little kettle suspended over fire. Oh, this is a house of a peasant family, but they were like administrators of this village. Look at that. And all of these stoves over here. And have a look at all of these stones over here. Oh, they're so different from a Russian stove. Russian stove is like completely different. These are so small. In Russia you could sleep on that Russian stove. Well, obviously Russia is colder than Japan. Oh, look at this. So interesting. And look at these tatami rooms. Oh, and this is this house inside. Look, with all of the sliding doors and hall. And also a stove over here. How cool. Here there's some information, but it's all in Japanese. But apparently this was a house of some warrior, some samurai. Apparently this step, if I'm not mistaken, from the information, is a sign of prestige of the family. So if a house has something like this, it means that it's a house of an important family in the village. So, that's interesting. Now, this house was built by a Japanese architect who traveled to Europe, and I think he was the leader of this like modernist movement in architecture, and so he built this house. He combined Dutch style with the Japanese style. So I think that this temple is particularly beautiful. As far as the information says, it was built by a princess in memory of her mother to hold services for her mother. I think it's so beautiful. The information says that this garden was renovated, and the person who lived here enjoyed sunbathing in this garden. And what else? I'm strolling in his garden, obviously, but I can totally understand why he enjoyed it. It's so beautiful here. So it's interesting. And also the house was renovated. Oh, beautiful. I didn't realize it at first, but it's a huge house. So look, this, and then that part is also connected. So it's like one huge house. How cool. This person must have been very rich. Now this gate behind me belonged to a family, and it reproduces the style of Japanese feudal houses. gates to Japanese feudal house. It's very tall. And also on the side it has a little room for something. Let's have a look. This also with tatami. And that is a family crest. I think this house with the park, with the small lawn, has to be my favorite house out of all I have seen so far, because it's just so beautiful, and this park is so beautiful. I would love to live here, but I also watched somewhere that in such houses there are a lot of cockroaches, so then it's questionable, but still it's beautiful. Now the last area in this museum is reconstructs the atmosphere of old downtown of I don't know which city, any city apparently. So it has like also like these buildings and also some shops and public baths reconstructed with all the appliances inside. So let's go have a look. Now I thought this was a drugstore, but actually this is a cosmetics manufacturer. So apparently this is the shop where women came and bought some cosmetics for themselves. How cool. Let me show you. There's one more farmhouse. Look, it also has, oh, it's actually quite a big farmhouse. Have a look. So apparently you could go there, but this is like the main entrance. And if we enter, oh, look at this roof. This roof is enormous and so high. Woohoo! Let's see what's inside. Okay, so when you enter, on the left there are tatami rooms. Oh, look at that kettle. That kettle is cute with the fish. And again, this step. Apparently they were fancy. And then there is the stove over here. Apparently with some wood to burn. This house is actually big. Look how many tatami rooms. It's actually very big. Look how many. Guys, this museum is actually very big. There's so many things here to look at and to see. So interesting. This building served as a house and as a general store, so I guess this front part was a general store, and then further there are tatami rooms, and also there is a second floor, so the second floor was the house. is a stationery store. It actually reminds me of Ollivanders. Doesn't it look like Ollivanders? Look at it, so beautiful.
For every morning that I rise and I am showered by your smiles, oh yeah. For every night I got too near, tears dry out, clouds disappear, yeah.
This was a store that sold Japanese umbrellas. I'm sorry, I've been filming so much my camera died, so I will have to continue on my phone. But this was the shop that made Japanese umbrellas. And that is the room and clothes. And this is the process of making umbrellas. So I guess first is bamboo. And then they make the sticks. And then they do something else with the sticks. And then they connect them. And then they start connecting all the paper. And then they close it. And then this is the result. This was a hotel, an inn, where people could stay.
For every hour that we share, two explorers of nowhere, oh no. The secret codes in your eyes, the crazy laughter and the cries, oh yeah. And I thank you for the little things.
Now this house is a tailor's workshop. So that's where you would come. Oh, look, there's a small garden. That's where you would come to have some clothes made for you. Oh, you see? Is it too dark? Can you see? Kimono or yukata? I cannot tell.
The kisses and the smiles, and I thank you for being the best part of my life.
Now this building was a public bathhouse. How interesting. Okay, now we're going to the bath section.
And every time that things go wrong, you pull me up, I come back strong, oh yeah. Cause popes and kings have come and gone, but we're still going on a road, yeah. You heal my mind and blessed my soul, touched my heart and made it whoa, yeah. So I thank you for the leather fans, the kisses and the smiles. And I thank you for being the best part of my life. And I thank you for the leather fans, the kisses and the...
Now this is what a bar would look like. We cannot enter, but I can show you from here. Can you see all the bottles? And this is apparently the drinking room. Guys, I like this place so much. There's so much to see and so much to explore, so many old houses, old parks. Oh, such a good place. I really like it. And also the entrance is so cheap, so cool. And all the houses are so beautiful. So beautiful. I mean, it feels like I'm always traveling in time. I could imagine myself like, walking down central area in Tokyo in like maybe middle 2020, 20, in the middle of the 20th century. After the Second World War, after that. Just to clarify. So, yeah. Oh, such a beautiful place. As Anne of Green Gables would say, there's so much scope for imagination here. And look, there is a little bit small gate, like a temple. Is it like a home temple gate? Let's see. Yes, here it is. Baby temple. Small baby temple. I feel like this vlog is going to be very long again. But what can I do? It's such a beautiful place, and I also just want to, keep memories for myself. Such a beautiful place. And I also really want to encourage you, if you're ever in Japan, come here. Come to Edo Tokyo Open Air Architectural Museum. It's cheap. It's totally worth it. So beautiful. And I love this place. I will come here again. You can also read here. So, such a good place. Really like it. I still didn't introduce you to the book that I was reading. So, with this beautiful temple on the background, I will introduce you today's book, which is Italo Calvino, Under the Jaguar Sun. I don't know, maybe I will sit here and read a little bit, because like it's such a wonderful, beautiful, quiet place, and like it's not crowded. And you see this table, all the tables, so good. So this is my second story collection by Italo Calvino. I read Into the War, so 3 stories in that collection, and I really liked it. Those 3 stories were about the beginning of the Second World War, when Italy joined fascist Germany. So, and they joined into the war, and it's about the narrator like seeing how the society behaves, how young people behave who like believe in fascism, how they behave with other people, how they go to France. So those are like those 3 stories, and I really enjoyed those stories. And now I'm going to read Under the Jaguar Sun, which is also a collection of 3 short stories, and it's also very short. I think I will try to read it at least a little bit, because there is this challenge that you have to read the book out of your house. So the whole book. But I will not be able to read the whole book, but I will read at least something. Let's see. But I'm excited to read Italo Calvino, because also I really want to read his fairy tales, Italian folklore fairy tales. Book Depository. When will you produce a discount for that book? Yes. Also, I'm actually very thirsty, so I don't know how long I'm going to stay here, because I really want to drink, and what a stupid person. I had to buy a bottle of water, and I didn't. Sometimes good thoughts come later in life. It's okay. I think I will go now, and I will read Italo Calvino at home. Because at home it's so much more comfortable. There is water, there is tea, there is food, there is refrigerator, there is everything. So yeah. But it's such a lovely place, and if you are ever in Japan, if you're ever in Tokyo, come here. Don't forget, mark it for yourself, because this place is really so good and so interesting. You cannot go inside of the houses, but you can see just a little bit of the interior. But even that, exterior is very beautiful, and also the information about the houses, when they were built, who lived in them, everything was so interesting. So highly recommended. This place is highly recommended, and come here. So good. I actually really liked today, and the weather is so good. It's not raining, it's not hot, it's a little bit humid, but it's okay. We can deal with it. So this was actually lovely. so good. I don't want to leave, but I need to. I need to get home. I'm already hungry and thirsty. Oh, but it was such a good place. I really, really liked it. So good. I will come here with my husband next time. Okay, guys, but now let's go home because I'm tired, and we will read Italo Calvino at home and on the train as well. Because I read on the train and I have quite a way to go, so I will read also on the train on my way home. So let's go. Hi everyone, so it's evening again, and as usual, let me just tell you about the book that I was reading today, which I haven't finished actually. In the middle of this book, I read like, I don't know, 50 pages so far. So I read one story. I'm in the middle of the second one, and I will have one more story left. So I will just tell you about what I have read. So far, the first story, I actually really enjoyed it. I already can tell that I prefer these stories to the stories I read before. I mean, the stories I read before were also really good and very interesting, but this, so far what I have read, it has been like a whole another level. At least like for me, so much more engrossing and just like such also an interesting perspective, because this collection of stories is actually like compiled on the topic of human senses. So the first story is on the topic of taste. The second story that I'm reading currently is the topic of like hearing. And the last story will be something else, I forgot. The first story was the story of this couple, husband and wife, whose relationships are not in a very good place. They're kind of growing apart. They haven't slept with each other in like already quite like long time, and so they're having this vacation in Mexico, and they're traveling around Mexico. They are fascinated by this kind of cultural phenomenon that they learned about, which was cannibalism. It was like in the old times when people would choose the strongest and just like the best man from the community, and then they would kind of offer this man to gods by killing him, giving his body to vultures, and what was left of the body people would eat. Priests and like the higher rank people of the community would eat it. And so this husband and wife, they're fascinated of this like idea of this phenomenon, and also they're particularly fascinated by like the taste of like kind of what it would taste like. But also this story, they kind of look on their relationship through food and through taste, and they communicate with each other not through words but through tastes and like their experiences with food. And so this idea was weird. Something like some parts in particular, like about when they talk about this cannibalism, is like also like weird and a little bit maybe terrifying. Their relationship is really fascinating because like you can really tell that like they are not in a good place together. Wife, she's kind of bored with her husband. She considers him boring. Yeah, she actually also compares him to like food tastes. Like she says like he is kind of bland. So like their relationship is evolving through food experiences. So that was really fascinating and interesting. And also like the language with which he writes this, like the language, I feel like it's such also a very good translation. So translation is really good because like the language itself is so engrossing. In particularly you can notice it in the second story. Like the second story in particular has like a really this type of language that kind of just takes you in, and you're like floating in this in his sentences and you know his speech. So the second story is about this king who is sitting in his palace on his throne, and he cannot leave his throne. He's, I don't know, he's kind of obsessed with like his kind of not power, but he's afraid to lose his throne, and so that's why he's like always sitting on it. And so because he cannot go anywhere, because he cannot like move around the palace and see things for himself, his only like way of kind of understanding what's happening in the palace is through hearing. So he listens to the palace. He knows when certain sounds should appear, like when certain sounds from kitchen should come, when certain sounds from the guards should come. And like if sounds go in the same way like every day, for him it means that like everything is okay and there is no conspiracy against him. And so it's just like, so far that I have read, it has been him listening to the palace, and also like his train of thoughts of like why he's in this position and what he should do. So that is, so far I still haven't finished the second story, so I will finish it either tomorrow morning or tomorrow this evening. Just as usual, I need to edit the video and upload it. I still need some time for that, but so far like really I think I prefer this collection, like definitely I prefer this collection to Into the War, like for sure. It's just like the language, the story, and like the idea of the stories is like a whole another level. Really enjoying it so far. This is my thoughts on Under the Jaguar Sun, and I hope you enjoyed this vlog. I hope you enjoyed coming with me to this open air architecture museum. I hope you will be able one day to visit it yourself, and like it's going to be a really cool experience. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a very good day, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.